Hey everyone, so today's video is going to be a quick update on patch notes for this week. There's not much, it's just a new hero really being introduced and then, a banner. So we will talk about that and then a update on this Gavin bug fix. So I introduced in my Discord, or announced in my Discord, that the devs admitted that Gavin wasn't working the way he was supposed to with his trait. So we'll actually talk about that first. So Gavin wasn't working the way he was supposed to with his trait. I'll show you in game as well, as I have Witch of the Wind running. But his trait is supposed to ignore, a certain amount of defense, 35% baseline, and then it increases by 15% for every positive effect that he has on him. And it can scale up to 90%. So whenever you were actually applying this in game, the only thing that was actually working was his active attack. So whenever you would click on his ability and he would attack, that's what would ignore, as well as some counterattacks. So when he counterattacked with a counterattack buff up, like say from William or Radiant Pixie, his attacks would also ignore defense. But his passive effect, whenever he counterattacks, whenever he is attacked, or if he activates it off of his ultimate ability, it wouldn't ignore defense. So what's up in the air right now is whether or not this passive is going to ignore defense from his trait. The bug fix that they are mentioning is actually rewording Gavin to act the way he's currently acting, so he won't be buffed technically, which is a bummer, because whenever the devs admitted that it was a bug, I thought it was a bug like he should have worked the way that his trait reads, but it was a bug in the way that his trait or his kit needs to be revised, so it is more clear that his trait won't work in certain instances. And that is annoying, especially with the fact that, one, I was excited and put out there that they were going to fix him, so I'm sorry for that. You always should take that with a grain of salt going forward. I hate whenever my word is kind of tainted a little bit, but anyway. And then on top of that, they have this limited summon going on, and he's not worded the way that he's supposed to. So I think that's a real bad look for them. So if we go into Witch, where I'm running Gavin right now, so what happens is if Gavin is attacking with his with like a bonus attack from Radiant Pixie. So Radiant Pixie has an S2, which you'll see here. She brings in someone. His ignored defense isn't supposed to work there. I don't think it does, but it'll be reworded that it doesn't work that way. The other thing is Florence gives these bonus attacks from Gavin with her ability on her ultimate. So whenever he does a bonus attack from Florence, he also won't ignore defense, which I don't think he is right now. It's only on his active abilities. So that's what's going to change. But his damage output from his actual counter attack is not ignoring defense, and I want them to make sure that that's fixed. So that is the Gavin bug fix, as well as the summon events. So this advanced summon rate up is going to be 2 people. So it's going to be Rosalie, who I just kind of made a video on yesterday, with her value has gone up because of the strong red heroes that have been introduced or have gained value over time because of new LDs that have been introduced. Rosalie is very strong. She was a seasonal hero, so I think a lot of people have copies of her. But if you are missing her Ascended 5 copy, where she launches a bonus attack whenever she has elemental advantage, and then also giving her additional blocks, I think might be worth going for. She's very strong in a lot of areas. So she is the 300% rate up banner. And along with her will be Zoltan. So Zoltan is actually a pretty strong LD, but he does need some additional ascensions to be very strong. Whenever he gets his trait unlocked, he has one of the strongest ascension traits in the game, being able to acquire lifesteal on his ascension. He can solo a lot of content in PvE, and then also he becomes a real menace in PvP as well. So that's a nice LD to be included on the summon event. So that's what that summon event will be. In regards to the limited summons, what they're going to have is Matson and Fahim. So Matson is a pretty strong character for Guild versus Environment, and he is one of the stronger characters for Rift of Chaos as well. So Matson brings a Vampiric Touch, which is a unique trait just to him within the game, where it allows all of your units to acquire lifesteal for 2 turns, which is pretty nice. And then he also puts up Ignite. So Ignite has been a pretty good debuff here in the past few months. It's very strong against Rift of Chaos, especially with the introduction of Arlo, which goes very well with Ignite. So Matson is a pretty strong character there. He's also a very good character, like I said, in Guild versus Environment versus bosses, as well as some of the ancient relic tiles and things like that. So Matson is one of the heroes in there, along with Fahim. So Fahim actually got a buff not too long ago, and he's a pretty solid hero. He does have this Massacre Mark, which is similar to Opal's Joint Attack, but this loops around so much faster than Opal's, because whenever he attacks the same enemy repeatedly, his ultimate cooldown actually reduces. So this is almost up all of the time. So his damage output is very good. I actually think he could be viable in Guild Boss. One of the downsides with Fahim is his animations are so slow. So that is something to think about. He has very impressive speed, which is pretty cool. The other weird thing about Fahim is he has True Strike in his masteries, which I think holds him back a little bit. I don't know what the devs were really thinking when it came to his masteries. When it comes to his trait, getting a stack of invincible is kind of nice, but it's the one hit invincible. So if he gets hit, the invincible goes away. So I don't know how strong he actually is in Arena. A lot of times people will underestimate heroes. They'll look bad on paper, but they end up being pretty good in Arena. But the True Strike ability, I do think somewhat holds him back, because I think he's a very strong PvE character. But the True Strike, does hurt him in that regard. So he is the other one. On top of that, they are introducing a new hero. I don't want to talk in detail about the new hero. I'll give you like a summary of what he's going to do. And then whenever we actually have him in the index, we'll talk about him then. I don't know if I'll get the hero as a trial hero or not. But if so, we can test the trial hero whenever we get him. But as a general overview, he is going to have, and it is a he, he's going to have a general leader skill for dungeons, so similar to who has attack percentage? It is not Poros. Someone has attack percentage. So Hitoshi has attack percentage, but it's 15%. So this new hero will have a attack percentage ability in dungeon battles, but 20%. So that's a good start. The trait is a rage mechanic, so again, kind of similar to Hitoshi. Opal, gaining rage is going to be important for this character. It will start with 2 rage at the start of the battle, and then every time it kills somebody or an enemy dies, it doesn't need, at least the way this trait reads, this hero doesn't need to kill the enemy for it to gain rage. But anytime an enemy dies, it gains a rage. And then it says whenever it casts its basic or ultimate ability, so the basic or the ultimate, each rage will increase its attack by 5%, and it seems to be 15% whenever it's ascended, and then adds one additional targeted enemy. So if this hero has then 4 rage, it targets all enemies. I don't know what the max rage is, so that's going to be interesting to see. But it's a mix of like Hitoshi with Nathalia. So Nathalia also has that trait where like her positive effects allow her to target additional enemies. It seems like this new water unit, whose name is Kason, the more rage he has, the more enemies he targets. And then 1 rage is removed for every enemy targeted. So it comes back down, but then refills once an enemy dies. This hero is Screaming Ash Magisteria because his rage should increase. His rage should basically always be full on Ash because of the little minions that you'll be killing. It should work that way, but we'll test it whenever the hero is actually released. So then this hero has a basic ability where it gives him 120% damage to one enemy and then gets a random attack up buff. So he's going to have the same basic ability as Gavin. So Gavin, whenever he uses his basic ability, he gets one of those random attack buff up stats. So this will be his basic ability. So his special ability, like it's so funny how they made these dungeons so hard, and then they're releasing a hero that counters it directly. I mean, we all saw this coming, folks, right? So his special ability reduces 100% damage when an enemy makes a counterattack to them. So his special ability will have the trait of Bachelard. If he is counterattacked, he takes no damage. So yeah, there's that. And then he makes a counterattack with his special skill when the enemy is fire. So he will then have a trait similar to, a special ability similar to Rosalie. So it's going to be built in. Bachelard takes no damage on counterattacks, and anytime he's attacked by a fire hero, he will counterattack with the special ability. And the special ability, I'm sorry I'm laughing, but it's just like so funny how predictable the devs are with this stuff. So sorry, I digress here. It will counterattack with ability that deals 120% damage to all enemies, and then the damage increases based on the number of surviving enemies. And then the damage against the boss is increased by 100%, and it can be triggered by a trigger skill. I don't know what that means. Yeah, I don't really know what that means. Anyway, the whole fact of the matter is his special ability triggering and damaging all enemies is going to be huge. It looks like it's once per round, so it is not like Rosalie in the fact that every time he's hit by like the little imps or something, he'll do that. But I think it's probably going to be enough damage regardless to pair with someone like a Rosalie or a Pluto. And Pluto is around here somewhere. Level 60 maybe. Yeah. So Pluto does, additional attacks on his trait if there's 5 or more enemies. So I think he's going to pair well with Pluto. All right, and then he has an ultimate ability that deals 220% damage to an enemy, and it restores his health equal to 30% of the damage. And then on each ability cast, so every time he uses this ability, if the hero has 4 rage, then it launches a bonus attack with the special ability. This ability's cooldown is reset when the rage is full. Oh, man. Guys, so, okay. I know no one's happy about it, and it is what it is. But this new hero, Kaysen, is going to be necessary to farm higher stages of Ash Magisteria. Shocker! Who saw that coming? Nobody, right? Okay. That's it for the patch notes. I'm getting out of here before I chuckle even more. But that's all I got. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed. I'll catch you on the next one. See ya.